Hi everyone, this is Dr. Luckey and my son Lavon. And Lavon is 11. He and I are going to show you how to make the Poincare Disc Mandala. And this is a mandala that my daughter completed in high school. And a mandala you'll find from your wonderful instructor, a little history about the mandala. And so this is one example, and what we're doing is we're going to combine the idea of a mandala and hyperbolic space using the Poincaré disk. So the geometer Poincaré created this model of a line, a parallel lines in hyperbolic space. So remember, this is disproving the fifth postulate about parallel lines, that they do not intersect, but they do if you put them on a spherical space like your polyhedron balls, or if you put them on a hyperbolic curve. So we're going to create some of these curves and then create mandala. And I'm going to show you M.C. Escher. M.C. Escher is a famous artist that liked to use repeated patterns in mathematics, geometry, seamless patterns to create beautiful works of art. And he has combined the idea of a mandala and the Poincaré disk representing hyperbolic space into this beautiful art piece. And so you can see that Poincare Disc Mandala and the mandala patterns in there. So what we're going to do is create that. So follow along with Lavon and I. So I'm going to show you, and then you do it along with Lavon. So the first thing that we need to do is to create some fold lines like you see here. They will help guide you in creating your curves. Right. And your curves will end up like this. So there's a lot of them, so that's why we're going to use folded lines to help you. So the first thing I'm going to do is fold our paper in half. And you want to make sure that you fold it accurately and carefully, and make sure that you have a very solid crease. Now do it with Lavon. We're going to create a square here in just a moment. Good job. Now we're going to fold it again. Watch me. All right, now it's your turn. Do it with Lavon. And you can see he's lining up the edges really good, and he's going to make a hard edge there with his fingers. Great. All right. Now the next part, that was super easy, wasn't it, everybody? So our next part we need to be very careful about, or our lines won't work. So I want you to find the part of the paper that just has two folds like this, and the part of the paper that has one thick fold, and we're going to put them together to make a triangle. And now it's very important that you use these two sides, otherwise you're not going to get the lines you want. So watch me first and then do it with Lavon. All right, so now it's going to look like a nice triangle with a little rectangle left over. Okay, now do it with Lavon.
Like the Nevada.
Yeah, it's like the state of Nevada where we live. I hope you're following with Lavon there. I'm making your fold now. And I like how he's lining it up precisely so that his guided folds will really help him when he's all done. All right, let's see if we did it right, Lavon. Later we're going to fold it again, but don't do it now. You'll understand why in a moment. Okay, let's open it up and see how we did. It's looking pretty good. All right, now your fold should look like this, like a big star there. How did you do, Lavon? Hey, that looks really great. All right, now what we're going to do is take our compass. Now we get to do the fun part of the compass. We need to make a nice big circle. There you go, Lavon. There's yours. Okay, so I'm going to do it, and then you're going to do it with Lavon. So when you're using a compass, now use the compass because you want to learn a new skill with a new mathematical tool. And it's not very often we get to use this in school. So I thought it would be really great to create an art lesson where we get to use this and really learn how to use a compass correctly. They're used for making circles in geometry and for measuring angles. Some of them will have a set of degrees up here so that you can actually measure angles or the width of different rays. All right, so what we're going to do is take our metal point here and set it in the middle. And this is probably the best way I know that works for everyone. What I'm going to do is show you two techniques. This technique is just to pull the paper. So I'm going to make the biggest circle I can. So I'm going to go far to the edge over here of this paper without going over. And then I'm going to pull the paper. I'm taking the paper and pulling it towards me. It's useful if you stand above it. If you're sitting while you're doing this and it's not working for you, try standing and see if that might help you better. Okay, now I got a circle. Now do it with Lavon. He's going to make as big a circle as he can.
Too big.
There you go, good. And then he's going to pull the paper towards him. Now be careful not to push down on the compass. You will push out the angle and it won't be an even circle. And it's hard to drag the paper if you're pushing too hard. Keep going, you're doing great. Good. That is going to be a very nice big circle. Good job. All right, there we go. We have our circle. Now we're going to use our curves. Now, if you need to touch things up like Lavon is doing, go ahead and do that now too. And allow mistakes to happen. If you have to start over on another sheet of paper for whatever reason, that's okay to do. Conserve the paper. I tell students, if you don't like your circle, it's not big enough, or your compass moved on you when you were doing it, just flip it over and try again. Or oftentimes it takes 3 to 5 tries, so it's okay. Use as much paper as you need and try again. Remember, you're going to use good growth mindset and keep being persistent in your practice of using this new skill. It's not expected that you get it exactly so the right first time. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make our curves. So we're going to make, this looks really busy, doesn't it? We're going to make this big curve right here, okay? And then we'll show you how to make the smaller curves. So I'm going to find these two lines here, and in the middle with this middle line is going to be where I'm going to put my first point. Make sure that you measure how far away you are from there. Sometimes this moves on me, so I have to be careful. Okay, measure where that line is and then pull the paper. And you're going to have your first curve, just like that. Now, Lavon, you try. He's going to measure it all up. Take your time to do it. Good job. If it's not absolutely exact, that's okay. Try to get it as close as you possibly can. Good job. This pencil does it. Oh, you did it exact. Phenomenal. What a good student. All right. So this is where, again, we started and we made this curve. then you're going to go right to the next line over here and do it again. So I'm going to go right here, and Lavon, you can do it too. And then make your next curve. And repeat that. Go right where you left off and make your next curve. Go all the way around. And it goes pretty fast. And then we're going to erase and make some touch-ups if you want to. All right, so Lavon and I have finished up here. And as you can see, we now have 8 curves. And you can make sure that you count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you don't have 8, go find the one that you're missing and put it in there. Okay, now we're going to do the next curve. So the second generation is what I call it. And they're smaller curves. So in order to do that, we need to add new folds. So I'm going to fold this all back up again. Okay. And you can do it along with Lavon. And I'm going to go back and refold it just like we left off, where you have the triangle with the rectangle on top. Okay, good. All right, we're going to make one more fold to help us with the last set of curves. So we're going to take this side over here. This is the hard fold. And we're going to line it up on the edge and make a cone, like an ice cream cone. Like that. Well, it looks like a nice ice cream cone. With a little ice cream on top.
Do you want the creases really deep?
And yes, we want the creases very deep. Good job. All right, well, let's try opening it up and see what we have. Oh, good. We have some extra lines that will help guide us. How did you do, Lavon? You did awesome. Great. Okay. So now let's do our last set of half circles. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take where these lines meet, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you. There you go, everyone. So you're going to find 2 places here where the lines meet, and we're going to make a curve right here. And this is how we're going to do it. So I'm going to put my pin on this marker fold. So that's why we made this fold here, to help guide us. So now I can put it there, and then I'm going to measure right to the fold next to it, and then I'm going to make my curve, just like so. And then I'm going to move to the very next line, and I'm going to do it again. I recommend that you make sure you line up that fold before you turn it. And then just keep going around, just like that, everybody. Okay, now you do it, Lavon. Now you guys can do it with Lavon.
And remember to pull. That's the easiest way.
Yeah, the easiest way is to pull.
You can do it any other way, but that's the easiest way for us.
Yeah, keep going until we go all the way. And if you mess up, just stop, erase your line. I just messed up myself. Erase your line and do it again. All right, well, I'm going to pause the video while you work. Right, so go ahead and you have unpaused the video now, and we are all done. So now we have our final step. So your circle should look like this. One thing that I recommend, and look at, awesome, I bet yours looks as good as Lavon's. So good job, everyone. It's really fun to use a new math tool, especially one we don't get to use very often at school. And for some cases, never. I never got to use that very cool tool. So that's why I made this project, so that I could use it with you. All right, so we're going to show you some different ways to maybe color it or give you some ideas. First of all, I would like to recommend that you go through and take a dark marker. So think of maybe what colors you're going to do in here. You can use black or dark blue or brown, and go over your lines in ink, and that way that you'll make them really pop. Now you can do this before you start coloring in. Depends on your markers. Some markers bleed. These are permanent markers, and I can use any color so it won't bleed. If you are using water markers that will bleed, then make sure you do this step last.
Sharpies?
You can use Sharpies. Those would be perfect, actually. And just go over all your lines so they're really defined. Okay. All right, I think you've got the right idea.
Or
it can be thick or thin point to do that. All right, so here's some examples, and then that ends our lesson. Let's see here. Here is a simplified form. So you can just fill in. What I did is that I went in and I erased in between the spaces and then filled them with color. So it makes a really nice pattern in there. Or you can get even more complicated. This was done by a student of mine who named hers Nature's Rhapsody. Oh, this is actually my other son, called Nature's Rhapsody by Jack Luckey. So he's my older son, but he was about Lavon's age when he made this. And the blue represents the ocean. The green represents the trees and the earth, and the trees growing from the earth. And then we have the yellow representing the sun, and in the center is a flower. So it's representing all of nature and the flow of energy through nature. And so you can name yours and do a theme-based Poincare Disc Mandala. If you want to get very detailed, this is one that I have not finished, but I got started on, and I was inspired by my daughter's use of detail. So I studied hers, and you can Google these online, all of these intricate patterns to have up on the screen or to research on your iPad. And there's a lot of different ideas and patterns to put in here. And so you can fill that space with that. All right, everybody, we'll have a really great time finishing up your mandala. I hope you have fun at camp. Bye, everybody. Say bye, Lavon.
Bye.